And welcome back into the Sports Source. This here segment of our program brought to you by Safety Systems. SafetySystems.com is where you can learn more about their spectacular work in audio-visual field. Let me show you something. Look at this. This is their showroom. If you drop by and see them, this is their showroom. You see one television right there, okay? It's on the far right. You see that one television. Actually, there are 4 TVs in that shot. The piece of art in the middle, push a button, the art slides up, there's a television behind it. Push another button, that cabinet, a television opens and rises out of it and covers the Safety System sign. Push another button, and a projector screen and projector both drop out of the ceiling. In other words, if you want to build yourself some sort of really nice sports room, but the missus says this looks tacky, call Safety Systems, and it can only look tacky when you push the right button. The rest of the time you have a picture of your in-laws up there smiling. And then when it's Gators and Vols, push the button, you got your game. Safety Systems, they do great work. Go out and see them for yourself or check them out at safetysystems.com. All right, fellas, the power conferences, the NCAA, have pushed for and gotten conference by conference autonomy. What's not known is, in that, the big part of that is the full cost of tuition scholarships. They want to give more money, a stipend to their athletes. But we still don't know exactly what the formula is going to be. Even if it's going to pass, you're going to have some litigation that's involved in all of this. That said, the Chronicle of Higher Education came out and posted their list, top to bottom, of the Power 5 conference schools, which schools had the biggest discrepancy between current cost of attendance, current scholarships, and what it would be if it is full cost of tuition. Let's take a look at the Safety Systems drawing board. All right, hopefully you can read that. Tennessee, number 1 in terms of what they would be able to pay, according to the formula used by the Chronicle of Higher Education, which is a pretty good academic journal. $5,666 is what Tennessee could pay its athletes every year. Okay, so the difference is currently they're giving about a $23,700 scholarship. Full cost would be $29.3, basically $29.3. Auburn is next, then Louisville, Mississippi State, and on down the line. That's your top 20. There are 7 SEC schools in the top 20, I believe. But Tennessee would stand the most to gain. Now we know that there are different formulas at play. Jimmy, I think you tackled this on your radio show at some point.
Yeah, we did, and we wrote a blog about it. We got the numbers in the SEC. Tennessee was at 5,666, and Georgia was at about 1,800. And that caught my attention, so yeah. I called around to find out why is there such a discrepancy, and I did find out there are different formulas that are being used. I also got in touch with Greg Sankey, who is the incoming commissioner of the SEC, and he said that they were allowing each school to do their own formula. However, there would probably be discussion at the SEC meetings about whether or not there should be one common number to use. Maybe they'll take the whole group and average it out to 3,500 or whatever it is. But there's going to be a lot of concern and, hey, how did you get to that number? Why are we at this number? Now, the thing is, these cost of attendance figures were done well before the NCAA passed it. So right. If you're a school that typically said cost of attendance is $1,800, you can't come back now that you're paying athletes and say, oops, it's now $4,000. Yeah. So you got to be somewhere within range of what your cost of attendance has been in the past.
And you also, as a school, you don't want to just jack up the price to get more for your athletes, because you're recruiting thousands upon thousands of students. And if you're saying, well, to come here it's worth $35,000, you're going to lose students, but you're going to gain athletes. You'd rather have the tens of thousands of students than the 500 athletes. Let's say that this is the formula they use. Do you think that is a big recruiting edge for Tennessee to be able to go in and tell a kid, at Auburn, you're only going to get 55.86. Here, you'll get 56.66. At Georgia, you'll only get that's a better example.
Right. Yeah. Right.
At Georgia, you're only going to get $1,800 a year. With us, you get $5,600 a year.
I tell you what,
does that rate with kids and parents?
And I think Bob has somebody that fits that situation right now that's looking at colleges. As a parent sitting there, you bet it does. Of course it does. It's a huge factor.
I would think if you sat there and laid those numbers out side by side, that Tennessee would start winning some recruiting battles that, well, they've got Tennessee, Auburn, and Georgia in their top 3. Well, all of a sudden, Georgia's gone. Yeah. Because, that, think about it. To an 18-year-old kid or to the parent of an 18-year-old kid, that's a lot of money.
This is going to bring, if this goes on, I agree with you, there will be some negotiating there. And this brings football, say, into the realm of like what kind of baseball and track and the sports that all don't offer full scholarships, whereas Tennessee or Georgia recruiting a baseball player, Tennessee might be offering a full ride and Georgia might be offering a half ride or something. So that's a big factor in those sports. And it could get that way in football.
The way I look at it, Auburn and Florida are just going to be paying their athletes more. I mean, under the table more.
But I go back to
I don't buy that with Florida. Auburn, yes. Yeah, their history says yes. You're right on Auburn. Two things. One, doesn't that suggest? Let's invert this. Doesn't that suggest that the worst scholarship deal right now is the University of Tennessee? If the difference is if you flip it and you're the best, alternately, doesn't that mean you're currently the worst?
And I would think that right now, that very well may be being used as an argument. If you got a kid who, at Georgia, hey, you got to come up with $1,800.
Yeah.
At Tennessee, you've got to come up with over $5,000 if you want to be a normal, average, everyday college student.
Very,
Yes,
very
I think.
quickly.
This will cost the Tennessee $1.474 million per year for cost of attendance for their 260 athletes. And if you're on 50% scholarship, you get 50% cost of attendance. 25% scholarship, 25% cost of attendance.
Which ties back into baseball and everything else.
And
right?
if they got that money back from the
tax.
amusement tax, it covered it.
And Mike, in between segments, Mike had the perfect solution.
Yeah.
What was your what if the mayor and the
I said,
athletic director?
what if City Mayor
Rahara.
Knoxville, Madeline Rohero, went to Dave Hart and said, Dave, you leave that Lady Vols logo alone and we'll repeal this tax.
Now you just put pressure on both of them. I love it. That's good. All right. And we're going to get so many parking tickets. Wait till this next segment. We're going to talk about Tennessee hoop stuff next. We got new Nike nightmares for you. We still got something to come on the Ice Bears and Smokies. And does the city of Knoxville even care about minor league sports? We'll discuss. And that's city government we're talking about. Come on back on the Sports Source.
Follow the Sports Source online at sportsource.tv and on Twitter at SportsSourceTV.